So be aware of your mortal self, and as an explanation, let go of the idea that you're a body that's destined to die, and instead seek an awareness of your immortality or your immortal self. Affirm, I am eternal, and that means that I showed up here from the infinitude, I've never used that word, the infinitude of spiritual intention to fulfill a destiny that I must act on. Well, no light card there. So either, make a little comment in the chat box, or make a comment about something that you bring here to your mat, something you would like to share with the class, an aspect of yourself, perhaps an awareness that you received today among all of the, and tell me if this is a little too loud. I just got this little device, so I might be yelling into it. Don't let me do that. So something that you may have come across in your day-to-day activities. I know it was voting day, but perhaps something that you would like to share with the class. Just typing it right there in the chat box, and we'll all take a peek and share experiences. So let's see. Oh, I sent it to you, Maureen. Let me double do that. It's supposed to be everyone. There we go. Okay, doubling up there. All right, yoga pants all day. Yeah. Okay. Something is brewing like a cauldron, like a gumbo pot. It's powerful. Hey, Fran. Welcome, Cheryl. Welcome, Laura. Laura's just joining the group. So if you're just joining us, we're simply putting a few comments in the chat box about what sort of energy or some episode or something that reflects your sort of day that you had today, or something that you would like to share with the class. We did pull an interesting intention card, be aware of your immortal self. And I have to say that perhaps our immortal selves are wrapped up in the election. Being a part of an election is having an immortal self. There are things that will, or if we're in an era where there's quite an impact, we have an unprecedented time. So being active and flexing and, having an awareness of these ebbs and flows of how society is created or destroyed, that is absolutely a form of immortality within the individual, but harnessed within the collective. So to vote is to be immortal in some way, there are fatal immortality votes, and it's just very interesting, our humanity and the history of humanity in groups. Oh, thank you, Maureen. Worldwide meditation 11:11. That's Thursday of next week. Next week is interesting. We've got 11:11, which is meditation. Oh, I see. It's on 11:11 and 11:13. So there's a Friday the 13th next week as well. So if you want to add some of that to your calendar, meditation, world meditation on 11:11 in the morning. Oh, I gotcha. Wonderful. So, I would like to begin, please. Let's get the recording button going. And I will mute everyone. Looks like nearly everyone is mute here. Okay, so coming onto your back, please. Hug your knees into your chest. And as far as props, nothing out of the ordinary. If you have a block available, simply always having a block is pretty much a standard with classes to support the head in certain poses. So I'd like to share the music here. Bear with me for a moment if the music gets a little loud. So I'm gonna, okay, that should have calmed down a little bit there. If that's not the right music volume, you can please let me know. Okay. And let's gently bring the knees into the chest and collect the head as well. Tighter to the knees and unlock the low back from any tension. At this time, you can add a pillow under your head. You can also take one hand behind the back of your head or your neck. And then unraveling, placing the feet about hip distance apart, lowering the head, and then taking the heels of your hands, and you're going to place them near the hip pocket, so the seam where the torso fits to the thigh, and press down and forward. You're going to feel this delicious stretch in the lumbar and the sacral area of the spine. And then you can kind of keep sliding down, but find right there at the top of the thigh, right there where the hip girdle meets, and press forward towards the feet. Let it slide out. We'll do that one more time. So the heel of the hand. And push, create that space there. And then release, draw the right knee, please, into your chest. Circle the right ankle around. And we're really going to hug the knee so that we're pushing into the organs in the abdomen, circling the other way. Feel your spine all along the mat. Connected there. And then taking the right leg straight up to the ceiling and point and flex the foot now. And we want to take as much of the bend out of the back of the knee. So long muscle, long bones, as if there's a reaching up and out of the hip socket. And then push through the heel, keep the heel pushing up to the ceiling. And you can even get this motion with your hands where you're, we'll do this, actually we'll do it away from the body, and then we need to stretch it toward the body because this is like a lymph massage. So there's just kind of massaging, but the idea is that you're lifting up and out of the hip socket. Now let's go the other direction. Keep that heel and slide now the intercellular fluid, just guiding your hands so that we flush. It's a way of flushing. So blood has the heart to pump it, but the lymph system really relies on you to be moving and active. That's why sedentary behavior is really, it lets the trash collect too much. So this is another way you can, just doing a nice lymph massage. Now we're going to hold the leg and flex the toes. So you're feeling a lot of tension here. That's just right. You want to be at an edge. You don't want to be at pain, but you also, you don't want to bend it too much. You really want to get the stretch going. Use a strap if you need to here. And I know there's a lot of philosophies that are like, oh, don't lock the knee, and definitely you don't want to lock the knee. Somewhere in between a straight leg and a straight, and a slightly soft and supple knee. So last part of it, hold steady, hold it right here, and straighten the left leg. So we've got this split going on, and make any adjustments and enjoy that shivering and wiggling of the rebound of the tendons there that are connecting the back of the leg, right? And it goes up and through the hip and connects into the low back. So we've got this whole connection here, way into the spine, and you can even imagine it now having its effect on the neck in a interesting way. Okay, then we'll take that leg all the way over and to the left. So a nice spinal twist here. Use props if you need to, otherwise both shoulders grounded. And I like to press my hip down, so I'm pushing the hip towards the bottom of my mat or towards the feet area, just lengthening out there, and even coaching the rib cage, the upper part of the rib cage into that twist, and enjoy the breath, enjoy the twist here. Feel your cheekbone slightly lifting, just lifting the corners of your mouth into just a smile that's a little more than, just at ease, a mouth at ease. It's just a little buoyant here. So lifting the cheekbones. It's like the chicken or the egg. Which happened first, the good feeling chemistry or the smile? So a lot of evidence for both sides. So smiling at your organs, smiling at the end of the day, smiling at your spine, getting a little more supple here. Last few breaths. And on these last two, if you would please, on your exhale, draw your belly button back with a little more force back towards your spine and push into, or feel that sensation that you're pushing into those digestive organs. You may find you get a bigger twist out of this. Twists are meant for digestive health. So we are squeezing and wringing out the toxins, coming back onto the back. We'll take both knees in to a rocking, massaging again. Option to draw head, neck, and shoulders again. Releasing tension in the low back. And we'll begin again on the opposite side. So the left knee comes in, And while you're hugging in very nice and tightly to that left knee, circling the left ankle. And don't forget about those toes. So like you're scraping out the inside of some kind of peanut butter, you're just gonna scoop with those toes. So spread open all the space you can with those toes. And we'll take that left leg now straight up into the sky and to the ceiling, a point and a flex with the foot. Feeling your spine grounded. Taking a moment to be sure that your neck and head feel supported. And some people need a little more under the neck than others. So good way to tell is if you have your chin pointing up. You want it to be in alignment, parallel-ish with the floor. So we're going to do that lymphatic flushing up first. And this is that lifting, or get a sensation of pulling my joints out of the hip socket. I'm just creating that space. I'm still hips grounded at the same time. You know, like 5 or 6 times, and then we'll switch it to the other direction. So keep that heel pushing up to the ceiling. Encourage the stretch to continue. And now flushing, and you do always, if doing lymphatic flushes, you always want to flush from the extremities towards the heart. So you can do this for your arms and your legs when you're in the shower. You're just feathering. You can be firm with it, but even feathering, if you've ever had a lymphatic massage, it's actually pretty like a light touch. But it's a superficial system that's very powerful, so it doesn't take much. And now let's hold the back and flex right here. And just imagining that tendon lengthening, maybe letting go of some of those ornery fibers that are perhaps stagnant in there. And then that split, so right leg extends, and enjoy some of that dancing around. And let's release there now, bending the knee, left leg over to the right, and begin feeling the grounding in the shoulders. So here we can press again, down and forward, or I guess it's not really down into the mat, it's more just towards the bottom of your mat. So towards the feet, like you're lengthening out that torso. And if you like, you can also hold those ribs in rotation a little bit too. So the challenging part of a yin class is being able to allow stillness to be its own reward. Those of you, and I
am a part of this group that have the active, overactive, sometimes are referred to as type A personalities. This can be quite the challenge, but allow that to be the challenge where, as you practice what's called the concentration of thought, you focus on one aspect of the experience. As you begin to develop a stronger focused mind, you start to look forward to this time when there's nothing to prepare for, there's nothing to remember, there's no responsibility, and we're going to start to unwind from the pose, bringing the spine back. And of course, it's in an effort to allow the body to do what it does best, which it takes time to do, is to work the inner fascia, the connective tissue of the body. These are subtle parts that just take time. So we're going to move into reclined pigeon pose. This is the right ankle that goes on top of the left knee. I'm going to flex the foot, the right foot, and then as you thread the needle to gather the legs into the body, I'm going to show you from a different angle. So here we are, the right ankle on the left knee. Now this can also be done against a wall, and I like to rock and even kind of do a little circle around. So if your knees, your right knee is okay, and that's why I like you to flex that foot so that you protect the alignment of the right knee, so the right foot stays flexed. And you just kind of, I'm doing a circle rock here. Encouraging a nice stretch to move in. Take that in any direction, switching a few times here. So movement being the balm to stillness, or helping the mind, if it's active, giving it something to concentrate on here. So. And now that you've moved a while, then come into stillness. I'm going to call back the lifting of the cheekbones and smiling at your the sciatic nerve bundle. I almost said the vagus nerve bundle. The sciatic nerve bundle, smiling at your right leg and the areas of the thigh and up through into the hip socket. Just smiling at this part of the body. We're in the final minute here. And yogi's choice for these last 3 breaths. If you'd like to draw the head, neck, and shoulders up and either hold here, you may also, if that knee got a little close, pressing on the thigh, not really pressing the knee, but pressing the thigh away, and then releasing. I'm going to take a nice long stretch, so stretching arms above the head, flexing both your ankles and the feet, stretching, and stretch your right side a little longer than your left. Switching, stretching the left side of your body a little longer than your right. Reach. And then bringing the feet back to the mat. And we'll swap it out for the opposite side. This time the left ankle with a flexed foot comes all the way over on the right knee. And then you may use a wall to place that right foot, or we call it thread the needle. So you got this little hole between your legs. So thread that needle and then reaching around on the opposite side, under the knee or at the shin. And this will be our movement time. So rocking, or that roll, rock and roll, oh, like that, rock and roll. Just working out the bumps or the sensations of tightness. And I would suggest anyone that has pain in the shoulders, or if you feel that your arms are working too hard, use the wall. It's really a nice tool to have. So a plain area of the wall for any time in the class where you can use that leverage. I certainly recommend it. And then now we'll be in stillness. So we had our time of movement, and now being with the pose. And for the final 15 seconds, option to draw head, neck, and shoulders up. You can maneuver that leg away, and as always, supporting the neck. And then release, we go back into that long, lengthened out, stretching the arms. Some windshield wiper reaching the right side longer than the left. And switch left. And gathering the knees. So we're going to do a little bit of a rolling like a ball option. Otherwise, roll to your side and press up into seated pose. But your ball would begin by taking your hands under your knees or on top of the shins. Head is tucked in nice and tight, and then using the legs like you're swinging, right? You would throw the legs out a little bit, and you want to keep the chin in. You want to keep the head tucked in. Draw that belly button back, and as you round your spine, you'll find that you have a round tire. I like to liken it to like a tire, because if the low vertebra and the lumbar area are a little flattened out, if they've lost some of their suppleness, you'll have that flat tire. It'll kind of do what a flat tire would do. So you pull the belly round through the waist, And have fun here just a few times. Find that balance point right on the sit bones. For those of you that want a little bit more challenge, a little extra, slide your hands and hug your ankles in. And let's see how this goes. It's been a while, so. And then when you're ready, bring your feet together and we'll go into a Baddha Konasana, or bound angle pose. So the feet peel open like a book and folding forward. I'd like you to do a little massage for yourself right here. Right, dig your thumbs into the arch of your foot. You may notice some little hard, kind of like muscles that get spasm in your back. There are little ones that kind of get spasm in the feet, so you can kind of work out some of that tension. And then you can give your heels some push and pressure and squeezing here. And then we're just gonna take each toe, we're gonna do a little circle in the joint and then pull. Okay, so this is reflexology. You circle that joint, there's like a joint that connects the little toe or the big toe, and then give it a few tugs and then move on to the next toe. So circle it in there and then give it a few tugs. Just work your way through each of the toes. Little baby's kind of hard to find here. I have feet that were meant for a high heel, pointed high heel. I'll show you if you like. And I have this cascading toes. They don't square off at all. They were meant for like stilettos, but my stiletto days are completely done. I can't even wear kitten heels without crying later. And making your way, maybe spending a little more time on that big toe if you like. And then just for fun, and this may work for some not so much, you're gonna, what they call thread the toes. Okay, so just as if you were to take your hands and thread your fingers, you're gonna do that with your toes. So see how that works for you. You might start at the big toe area because little toes get a little ornery. So you're gonna pull them through. Oh yeah, they're like a little puzzle piece that has yet to be connected. Oh my goodness, what's going on right here? And then you'll have your toes just connected out. Okay, there we go. Aha! And if you've got them threaded, then you can kind of show off a little here, lifting your feet and toes. So a little parlor trick, no, but you can fancy your guests next time. But it does separate the toes. Okay, so now you had fun. Pull those toes apart, and let's go into a forward seated pose. So we did a lot to stretch the back of the legs. Let's put it all together now in forward seated Paschimottanasana. So we're going to move some flesh out of the way. Feel your sitting bones right there. I like to pull that flesh out of the way. Flex your toes, flex your feet back. Pull your belly in, back to spine, and then pull your perineum up off the floor. So we have this lengthen up. In fact, this is a pose, Dandasana, in yoga right here. And it's simply having a nice posture in a seated pose with the legs straight. So nice posture. Pull the inner organs up by using the inner muscle structures that are there, right? So the bandhas or the gates. So Dandasana is a seated staff pose. And from Dandasana, keeping right here, shoulders down, arms reaching up, and fold forward. So if you can reach your big toes, wrap your two peace fingers around those big toes and pull yourself towards your knees, chin to shin, and the elbows now are going to bend and go out to the side. So that's just a way that the shoulders won't be tempted to go up to the ears. With straight arms, those shoulders are destined to be earrings. And of course, you can use a strap here and place a block under your head. There's no reason to have unwarranted tension for the neck. And notice how your real estate of breath now is concentrated in your back. So your chest is no longer of an advantage to fill. It is the back of the lungs, the lower lobes all the way down to the hips. So, and discover your back body expanding with every inhale, keeping that belly button pulled back still. So we're actively folding forward still. We're halfway there, doing so good. In Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So you want to picture this more than just isolated in the legs, right? So your toes are flexed back. We've got the Achilles, stretching the Achilles tendon and pulling up to the knee, and then from the knee through the large muscles that connect them to the hips, and then they thread in through to the low back. And from there, when you have a nice open length in the low back, all the vertebra and the erector muscle along the spine, the domino there, stretch and length. So we could see this as going from the heels, long stretch all the way back of the legs, up the spine to the top of the neck. Now you may not feel it in the neck, I don't. Good. Last 3 breaths right here. But it's the visual, it's the integration that I want to impress upon here. So we start to come back up, back into that staff posture. And now go ahead and allow yourself to round back, and we're going to come onto elbows. So keep rounding the back, draw the belly button in, keep the toes flexed. So we're going into what's called fish pose. And I had a yoga teacher that always say, this is you at the beach. You know, you're looking at everybody at the beach. So you can imagine yourself here at the beach. Hands are by your sides, and you're pulling those elbows in as close as you can so the shoulder blades come in. And now, puff your chest up. And this is as if you have a spike or something sharp underneath your shoulder blades, and you don't want to land on it. And then you can drop your head back or not, it depends. I feel that it just makes it a little more open if you can drop your head back, but it by no means is a neck movement. It is right between the shoulder blades, that area sometimes where the spine hunches. If you get that rounding, sometimes you see aged people with the hump. This is the non-hump, the anti-hump pose. So from here, if you stick your tongue out, we do lion breaths. So 3 lion breaths are really easy. It's so you can really just fire out whatever has been bothering you, bringing the head back. So here we go. We're going to come back up, and now hug yourself around. Just hug the neck in. You can even draw the neck into your body to have that be the opposite movement here. So, okay, and flipping over now, we get to be on hands and knees for
a nice shoulder roll to begin with. We did a little bit on the shoulders there, so this will feel nice to release them. And keeping the shoulders stationary and getting the hips moving in a circle. Switching the direction. Don't be afraid to make really big movements here. You want to move that synovial fluid in the hips. Okay, so this is the key to keeping your hips and its original lubricated form and not having to have replacement, although sometimes that is inevitable and they become incredible. So just a few natural cat-cows here to wake up the spine and continue. We've been on our back for quite a while. So I'm going to ask that this be more of a forceful, I don't like that word, but energetic, that's better. Inhaling with some energy and exhaling with some energy. So we're flushing the lungs. Inhale as you look up. Exhale as you draw your gaze to your belly button and you flush the air out. So if you start to get a little dizzy, slow it down. This can be done at any tempo. And finishing here, toes together, knees wider, and coming into child's pose just for a resting moment here. Let's see where we are with that. Okay. Coming just into, we'll have another moment to rest in child's pose, but if you would please come back into tabletop. We're going to draw in the energy of that belly button back to spine and also the perineum, that space between the sex organs and the anus, and pulling that area in. Such an important area to keep strong and to keep aware of. It holds the organs up against gravity. So, if you didn't know, now you know. And we're going to do a little balance pose. So keep the navel and the perineum muscle activated. And as you do that, just keeping your gaze on your mat, your right arm is going to float forward and your left leg is going to float back. Now, if you lost your belly button and your perineum, bring them back. And enjoy your stabilizer muscles at work. And you might even add a little bit of a cheekbone lift, a face lift. Oh, I like that. Put yourself a face lift. Keep drawing the navel up. All right. And we'll allow that to settle down. And when you're ready, connect back in with your bandhas, those gates that I was just talking about. And now it's the left arm and the right leg. Okay. And again, stabilizer muscles engaged. Enjoy the stillness. So you're staying strong at the inner core. And we're having balance. So that's forced awareness, forced concentration. And balance. One of the elements of balance is being able to concentrate. So release that. Go ahead into child's pose to recover. Circle the wrists. And we'll go again into this pattern of left-right lift, adding now a cat-cow. So it'll be the right arm and the left leg when you're ready, extending. Bandhas in. Inhale, look up like the cow.
And exhale, bend, elbow touches the knee like the cat. You can even look at your belly button. And from that stable movement, lift and inhale and exhale. Stabilizer muscles at work. Allow them to be working without any judgment, so non-judgment here. If you're falling, that is a great thing. That means there's learning that's going on with your body. Allow that. Rejoice in the body's ability to be so aware of this, this space. It requires awareness of gravity and our connection or non-connection there. When you're ready, other side, inhale the cow and exhale the cat. Belly button and the perineum, draw back, squeeze. Squeeze, pull that heel up, and let's go into recovery child's pose. From child's pose, tuck your toes, please, and we're gonna sit on your feet. So sometimes I say tuck toes and people are like, I don't understand. So tuck toes means those toes are curled under, and we're gonna sit right on top of them here. You can either apply all your weight or you can come onto your knees and vary that. So palms are gonna come together behind your back with the fingers pointing down. And we'll bring the ear to the shoulder, whichever one you like. Just hanging out there, waiting for the scaling muscles of the neck to release. And over to the other side. I know your toes might be squawking. Hold it just a moment. You can kind of fan them from pinky to big toe, kind of like fan open. And now we're going to sit on the tops of the feet. Keep the arms still, please, behind your back. And we'll start to make these little half circles from ear to ear. Take your time as chin gets heavy towards chest. And then option to go all the way in a circle if your head going back is okay. So about 3 or 4 times one way. And then switching 3 or 4 cycles in the other direction. Head back into center. Shake out the hands, interlace the hands, and circle the wrists. And we'll circle the wrists in the other direction. And taking the front palm or front top of one hand and pushing the wrist forward.
Seems like you can tell a little better from the side what's going on here. Taking the same hand, flip it the other way, front of the wrist, the palm of the hand rather, is pointing forward. Pull those fingers back. Oh, feels so good. If you're on a keyboard, let's switch to the other side. So top of the hand, just pushing down those that crease at the wrist. Now flipping those fingers up. And one last, so bring the backs of the hands together and just kind of keep the wrists so that they're like glued together. And we're going to circle the hands around. We'll let the fingers like they're going through some kind of soft honey. Fan them open. And coming on to, let's just check on the time here. Good deal. I do want to apply a opposite to the spine. So coming onto your belly button, please, or belly, not all the way down. We're going to be into that Sphinx. Right here, it feels really good to get that curve back in the spine. And you can swing your knees side to side, release any low back tension. Press down and lengthen up in the front chest and the neck of the body here. And for any of you that need even more curve, you can come off the elbows, press up. You can even bring the hands all the way to the shoulders and come up taller for more of a what's called seal pose, but not necessary to have a lot of that compression. So moving now all the way on to, just roll right over onto your back, hug your knees in, and we'll reverse this Sphinx. And move into Shavasana. So for Shavasana, I have a breathing visualization which was taught to me. So this can be against the wall if you would like to do legs up the wall, simple legs straight. What I'm going to do today is bring the soles of my feet together and have my knees wide, just a little extra into the hips. So find Shavasana that is of value, your favorite concentration pose. Find a blanket, your favorite blanket, dim the lights, make it your time for the next 5 minutes or so. And this breathing is very simple. It is your basic inhale, exhale. You don't need to count anything, but it's a variation of Ujjayi. It is Ujjayi, but with the idea that as you inhale, you will say ah, and as you exhale, you will say oh, but the mouth will stay closed. So as you breathe in, breathing in as if you're saying ah, and exhale, breathing out as if you're saying oh. You'll notice just applying the creation of the vowel in the mouth, the back of the throat, will create the Ujjayi. It's not really a hiss, but it's that fogging the mirror, but it's a gentle. So inhale, feel the ah, and exhale, feel the oh in the mouth.
just in this last minute, tuning into the hand in the center of your chest, the one hand clapping. So the organ of the heart. The one hand clapping within your chest. And the left side of the heart taking in and sending out. The right side absorbing the toxins of the cells and what will be released out of the lungs. So the left side sends out new, fresh. The right side receives what has already been used, what is waste. I'm just sending some gratitude to this incredible machine, this incredible organism that we get to inhabit. Paying attention to it, caring for it, loving it, parenting it, befriending it. It's a lifetime of awareness. So I applaud you in your practice and spending this time all together now. We'll start to thaw out from the Shavasana, giving continued gratitude to this body. And as you come out of the pose and into a seated position, and bowing your head to your heart, just in reverence for this incredible transformer of food. Things go in and different things come out. The chemistry of our mind and the efficiency of the systems that are in place to protect our body. And all we need to do is keep it moving and feed it with things that are most alive, that have the most prana or life force. So I wish you a wonderful night. We will unveil yourself if you would like to take your video off and unmute for a nice vibration from the vocal cords, that Om. It's actually pronounced A-O-M, and then there's silence. So it has 4 parts, and there's a whole philosophy behind the Om, Aum. So don't get me started. Anyway, allowing your breath to rise inside. I hope you're taking this into the rest of your day, and until I see you all again, namaste.
Namaste.
Be well.
Namaste. Good night.
Good night. See everybody Thursday. And
Bye. Good night.
bye.